Hey there everybody, this is me, Levi Wadley. Thanks for watching. So, I came across this bike, and I wasn't looking for another bike, especially when I got two more that should be on the road, and those other two bikes could be on the road for $1,000. But I seen this bike here, and I'm like, ooh, sexy red with a little bit of black, and then the price got me really excited. So, when I was on OfferUp, I seen this bike for $1,200. I'm like, wow, $1,200, but you know, he did say it's been down, and sometimes when people go down, they get scared and they sell their bike cheap because they're scared. I don't blame them, but I was looking at it, I'm like, you know what? The biggest damage is on this engine cover here, and the crazy thing is this comes off all right here. It comes all off, and you take it off here. It did not grind too much here, so I still got a good seal. It just looks ugly here. But I'm gonna have to buy a new one of these, and then underneath it, it has this like little cushiony sticker to keep this on. But wow, that's so cool that they knew that if it went down, this might break, so they made this as like a replacement cover thingy. Well, at least I'm hoping it's a replacement cover. But overall, the plastics look all right. I like the shiny red. I don't know what the bell is for. Maybe that's just his little lucky bell. But I think it's gonna be my lucky bell. And here, you can see here. So when I got it over a couple days ago, I wanted to ride it home. There's no way I was gonna want him to change his mind if I can get this started, because he wasn't able to get it started. And so he probably thought it was worse than it really was, because Chaparral told him it was a $10,000 fix job. And that's why they salvaged it. And I'm like, what? It's salvaged? He goes, oh, yeah, it's salvaged. I'm like, well, does it run? He was like, I'm not sure. It runs, but I can't get it out of first gear. Well, next thing I know, right here, let me show you. This thing down here is the kickstand, and it has a little switch here that tells the bike your kickstand is up. And if this switch down there is not compressed, I'll show you, compressed, it won't go into first gear. So it kept dying. So with my years of stereo shop business stuff, I'm like, let me just splice these wires like it's a speaker cable. So I just separated the two and then spliced them together. And so I got that to work. And I'm like, okay, well now let's see what happens. But this thing, to shift the bike, this piece was touching back here, and there's no way to ride it. This thing was not even on. It like the other one was all broken and grinded down. So I'm like, what do I do? How can I ride it home? So I put some vice grips here, held it with one hand. I put a piece of pipe on this one, and I did the kung fu pull. That's where you put your foot here and your hand here, and you're like, yeah! And I bent it, so now I could use the shifter. But at the same time, I'm like, how am I gonna ride with no foot holder thingy? Well, then I thought about it. I'm like, well, let's check the other bike. Let me get off the ground. Let me check the other pegs on the bike. I'm like, oh, no peg. And there's this peg here. So I'm like, maybe I can take the pins out of this one and put this peg down here. So that's what I did. So I'm like, cool, now I got this on, and I got this on. So at least I got the gear going. I got this hooked back up, so that way if it does run, I can keep it in first gear. But, ooh, look at this side. It got a little bit of scratchies. But this is a little plastic piece here. I'm thinking about just going to the nail salon and taking in this plastic piece and just matching up the plastics until I get one that has a similar color, and just doing a paint job over the scratches. So I'm thinking about doing that. And this piece here, this is plastic dipped. So if you notice, if I go like this a little bit, this stuff comes off. And then you gotta just peel it. See? I was peeling it off, so I think this is gonna take some time. But I don't mind. I'm gonna peel off all this plastic stuff here, just so that way I can get that all looking all one piece, one color. But going back to the bike, let me show you. This mirror was gone. This one totally came off. This side of the gas tank it's pretty happening. I'm all right with it. If you look at the gauges, the handlebars, they didn't take too much damage. Now here, this handlebar was bent all the way down, pressed into the tank, which scratched up the tank. So let me come around and show you the tank on this side. So, right here, this piece right here was all bent down, all the way down here, and boom. So he couldn't even take the bike out of the lock position. So again, I did the Hercules grab move, and that's where I grabbed the handle down here, and I went, and I bent the handlebars like that. So it was just an emergency ride to get from here, from over there to here. Now I'm calling Chaparral today to figure out how much a pair of handlebars are, but they're so busy, they just opened and they're not able to call back, so they're waiting a little while to call back. I thought I'd make a little video while I'm waiting for handlebars, because then you guys can see the beginning and the finish when I'm all done with it. But yeah, you gotta get the handlebars and replace those, because those are compromised big time. They were really bent really bad, you guys. Really bent really bad. I'm surprised when I bent them back, I didn't split the bottom down here. But I noticed just riding it a little bit, they're bending back down because there's no more strength in the bends. And then even right here, the paint's chipping over here, so I've lost a lot of integrity on this side. So I can't even be cheap, I have to replace it. So there's that there. But on this side of the tank, yeah, I got that there. I'm even thinking about some high gloss nail polish and going over this stuff too. I don't want to spend too much money on this bike since it's a salvage title, but I'm thinking for 800 bucks though, I can't go wrong. This sucker sounds so good, so smooth, and just for overall price, 800 bucks he gave it to me for. I told him, I go, after I get this bike going, if you decide you don't want to sell it, you're gonna have to give me at least 100 bucks for working on it. He laughed and said, no, if you get it going, if you want it, I'll give you a good deal. And he gave me a great deal, a super good deal. I really can't complain, you guys. For overall, yes, salvage title, but 650cc bike for 2014. First year it was sold was 15. Not bad. I'm pretty excited. I'm probably gonna just fix this one and sell it for 2,500 bucks. So if anybody out there likes the bike, 2,500, it's all yours. And it runs good, you guys. Just cosmetic damage. Pretty bad. I'm excited. Alright guys, if for anybody that rides or anybody that has questions or comments, just feel free to leave a comment. Like and subscribe.